Right, 7 o'clock, we'll make a start. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot to get through tonight. We've got the annual meeting of the Parish Council first, and then we've got the formal Parish Council meeting. So just a reminder to have the phones off or on silent or whatever. And it is being recorded, video recorded and audio recorded. So we'll get straight in, so we've got a lot to do. 25-26/1, consider the appointment of chairman for 2025-26. Phil is not here tonight, Councillor Barrett is not here tonight, he's on holiday in Scotland. He has indicated that he would like to continue in his role as chairman. However, if anybody else feels that they would like to stand for chairman, then speak now.
I propose we accept Phil's kind offer.
It certainly can. Yeah.
I'll second it.
Second it, right, okay. And I think Phil will be writing his declaration of acceptance.
Yeah, he just needs to sign the form.
Sign the form. Yeah.
Do you need to vote?
Yeah.
Oh, so can we vote on that, please?
Yeah, we can have a vote, yep.
Well, I'm for it.
Yeah, so Phil as chairman. Is that everybody? Yeah.
Is that good? Yeah.
Okay. Good, right, we'll move on to, we've been through the Declaration of Acceptance, move on to receive apologies and consider a plume for the reasons. 2 apologies, obviously Phil's not here and Councillor Balderson is not here for personal reasons. So, I think they're good enough reasons for absence. 25-26/4, elect a vice chairman for 25-26. The vice chairman, as most people know, is myself. I'm quite happy to stand again. However, if anybody feels that they would like to take the role,
I'll propose you.
I'll second it.
and then can we have a vote? Everybody in favour?
I'm in favour.
Yeah. Okay, that's everybody. Consider appointments to Finance Committee. Now the Finance Committee comprises at the moment of myself as Chairman of the Finance Committee, John Garver and Rebecca Everton. I'm quite happy to stand again as Chairman. Rebecca?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
John?
Yeah, unless somebody else
Yeah,
would
unless
like
someone's
to,
there.
yeah,
Anybody
change
else
around,
want
I'm
to-
quite happy to come off.
I suppose then that would keep the finance committee as it is with the current chair.
Okay, seconder for that.
Can I say?
And a vote, all in favour?
Yeah.
That's everybody. Staffing committee, appointments to staffing committee. Staffing committee is John as a chairman, myself and Claire Balderson. Again, John, are you happy to
I'm happy to continue on that
chair that
committee.
one? So I haven't heard from Claire, but she hasn't said she won't.
David,
so-
excuse me, I've spoken to Claire and she's happy to.
She's happy to, is she? Right, okay. So if we can have a proposer
I can propose that.
and a seconder.
I'll second it.
And a vote, everybody in favour? That's everybody, thank you. I got to consider appointments to council liaison roles. Now there's various of these roles, and you can help me out with that. Jenny, please, or anybody.
So this is somebody really for my benefit as an employee, being able to speak to somebody almost like a quasi-line manager. So,
Yeah.
and it's obviously
Phil, yeah,
as
that's
chair.
what I thought, but I
Yeah.
thought I'd check up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'd imagine Phil is more than happy to continue. Although he hasn't said he won't. So I'd like to propose that Phil.
I'll second it.
Everybody in favour?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's everybody. Right, consider adoption and review or updating of parish council policies. There's 9 policies in total. Standing orders is, we've reviewed the rest of them, but we'll start with standing orders because there's some new bits to the standing orders. And they've come through the 2025 update from NALC, which is the National Association of Local Councils. I think there's only one alteration. I think that's a gender neutral. Has everybody had a chance to read through it, by the way, because they were all sent out.
Yeah.
So is everybody happy with it? I said a gender neutral one is that you're referred to as a chair and not a chairman or a chairwoman. So that is the only alteration. So yeah, everybody happy to
I'm happy.
adopt that one?
I'll propose it.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Second it. And voting, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everybody. Thank you very much. Right, the next lot I intend to, unless I'm told otherwise, to do en masse. So we've got B, financial regulations, health and safety at work policy, generic risk assessment stroke management document, financial risk assessment document, closed churchyard risk assessment document, cemetery risk assessment document, allotment risk assessment document, and parish council working action plan. Now, they've all been reviewed recently. I see no point in going through individual ones. So is everybody happy to agree those en masse? They are up all on the website. They're all available for people to view. So I propose we adopt them.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Second that. And voting, please, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's everybody. Right, 24-26-9 to review Parish Council insurance policy. Again, this comes up in November, our policy renewal. It has been renewed throughout the year for various reasons. So unless anybody's got any...
No, we've done that quite recently, haven't we?
Yes, we
Quite
have, yeah.
recently.
So unless anybody's got any issues, I'd like to propose we take that forward.
I'll second it.
Can you vote on that one, please?
Yeah.
That's everybody? Thank
Yeah.
you. Right, to approve dates of the next meeting. I'd imagine this is for the annual meeting of the Parish Council. Now, I've looked on the forward calendar and we're looking at 5th of May, Tuesday the 5th of May 2026.
Right.
In
country.
I'm not washing my hair, but I don't.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if everybody...
Yeah, so will these go on the website, Jenny? Will these go on our Thornton Le Dale page, these dates?
What?
The dates?
Well, it'll
I
go
know they're in
in.
the minutes, but we do publish them on the, so when people go onto our Thornton Le Dale homepage, they can see the dates of the meeting.
We put on the next 3 dates for the parish council meetings. We don't tend to put the annual date in.
Right.
We just publish it nearer the time.
Right.
But it's obviously at the same day as the parish council meeting anyway,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is the first Tuesday of.
First Tuesday, which is the 5th, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, right, well that
So,
concludes.
yeah, just,
Have we voted on it?
no means.
What's the vote on it? Everybody there?
Yeah, fine.
So yes, yeah, John might be washing his hair, but we'll... Right, well that concludes the annual meeting of the Parish Council.
Thank you.
I might dodge the call.
So we move on to the formal Parish Council meeting, and as usual we have a public session, a 15-minute public session or thereabouts, where members of the public can ask us questions and hopefully we can answer them. So the floor's there.
Can I just ask about the clock? I understand that it was a pack testing.
I think it was a pack, well, I'm pretty sure it was a pack testing issue, and I think it's sort of
It's sort of,
sent it a bit,
you're
2
going
hours
up
and
to change
15
the-
minutes.
You're going up to change the.
Yeah, it's running 10 minutes slow, which is a lot more awkward than running 10 minutes fast.
Yeah.
Because in order to correct the time, I've got to stop it for 11 hours and 50 minutes. Whereas if it was 10 minutes fast, I'd just have to stop it for 10 minutes. And the strike, I'm not altogether sure how we can align the strike with the actual time. Because at the moment it's striking 10 when it should be striking midnight. I'm 2 hours behind, which is a result of the issues we had with the power out in the nave end of the church. So what had happened was the electricians came to do the 5-year inspection of all the church electrics. They turned everything off, and for some reason the nave end of the church didn't get turned back on. And before anybody realised it, the church clock had wound down, and because there was no power, it didn't wind itself back up again. So it stopped.
Didn't it not have a battery backup?
No. It's a 6-day movement. And so every 6 days it winds itself back up.
Okay.
And then as it goes down, something clicks a switch and it winds itself back up. And unfortunately, the period that the power was out was the period when it should have wound itself back up.
Okay.
So I will, it's work in progress because I've got to liaise with the church warden to get into the vestry to go up the tower to stop the clock to get back in and start it. But work in progress. The alternative is to call out Cumbrian Clocks to come and do it, but that means a call out and significant cost to the village. But when's the service due? Is it
Just been done,
just?
hasn't it? Just been done.
It would be done when the
We had
clock
one done
was
when the
restarted,
clock was
which was
restarted.
about February, wasn't it?
Yes.
So give me a few weeks to check it, and if it isn't sorted by the next meeting, I'll propose that we get Cumbrian Clocks out to sort it.
And we might be able to combine it with this clock out here because I can lay my hands on a working platform just to go up there.
That
and do
needs a light.
So it needs a light, so we might be able to combine it with that.
Okay,
So,
thanks. Thank you.
yeah, okay, thank you, Louise. Any more questions? No? Okay, thank you very much. To receive apologies for absence given in advance of the meeting and consider approval for reasons given for absence. Well, I've already mentioned Phil is on holiday and Claire is off for personal reasons. To receive item 1, 2, 3, to receive declarations of interest in items on the agenda. Has anybody got a declaration of interest?
No.
Any items? No.
No.
Good. 1, 2, 4, to confirm and sign minutes of the Parish Council meeting Tuesday the 1st of April 2025.
Is that one?
Is everybody, have you seen a copy? Is everybody
Yeah.
happy that they're
Yeah.
true, correct?
One of those, quite happy to propose them.
Okay.
I'll second them.
that. And the vote?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Listed, eh? On the back as well.
No. Brilliant. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Right. Right, item 125, to consider and note ongoing matters arising from previous parish council meeting and business. A, to receive and consider update, read the boundary wall on All Saints Church. I think, I spoke to Phil, and I think you have as well, Jenny. I think it's an ongoing process. We're waiting for various reports to come back. I know Mark Calvert, resident of Thornton Le Dale, has done a sort of interim report.
Yeah.
I think we're waiting for a guy to come back, aren't we?
Yeah, we're waiting for a quote
Yeah.
as an alternative quote to Matt's
So yeah.
suggestions. And I think also this work involved with the church as well, just to make sure.
Yeah, okay. So that's ongoing really, and I think we could probably find a bit more out before the next...
So we'll just leave it on the agenda.
We'll just leave it on the agenda, yeah, definitely, yeah. Okay, C, to receive and consider updates from the parish plan group. Obviously, yeah, have we got any news on that?
Well, we're going to find more about it at the annual
At the annual general
parish
meeting, yeah.
But the newsletter did have a summary of the parish plan first impressions.
Yeah.
We paid for that insert in the newsletter.
Yeah.
So there's quite an interesting write-up there that covers some of the main areas, so that's like the interim
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
everybody should have seen.
So we'll have a proper review of the annual parish meeting then. Yeah. Good. Item C, to receive and consider plan for village upkeep and maintenance caretaker. We've got several items on there. Update, TLD Beck Isle beds, shrubs work, main village upkeep and Malton Gate.
He's in the village tomorrow.
Is he in the village tomorrow?
Yeah.
So Mark has obviously done cemetery and churchyard, and he says he's in a village coming down Malton Gate.
Yeah, he's done some work. He has done some weeding on Malton Gate, and he's done some weeding in other parts of the.
Whereabouts on Malton Gate, Jen?
I'm not. He will show me the pictures, so just parts of Malton Gate. But obviously, it needs. If you think it needs more,
Yes, yeah, but it's
and
prolific with
he's-
weeds, as I said to you in my email.
and then it's just the rest of the saplings that need doing. But he does need a volunteer on that with the
Well, I can do that.
traffic
It just needs to.
management.
It just
So-
needs to say. So
Okay.
I can do that.
So,
We'll
but
let him know.
he's definitely in the village tomorrow.
And I think we're talking about loading the back of his truck out with and
Yeah,
carting it
yeah.
away. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And through you, David, what you say is in the village tomorrow, is he on Malton Gate tomorrow? Because it's the village square, which is a bit untidy, and Malton Gate.
Well, I can certainly ask him to focus on those two areas.
Because it's been on the agenda for the last 2 meetings, it's not been done, so
Well, he has done
it'd
some
just be
work.
really nice to get it done.
He has done some work on the Malton Gate because he showed me the pictures because you can see the fronts of people's houses. So he
Is it?
has done some weeding. I think part of the problem is he'll start at say 7 in the morning, but he can only do so much before the tourists arrive and so on. So he tends to come quite early on to try and do as much as he can before it starts to get busy, just so he can park near his work.
And then there's always quite a lot of cars, isn't there, along the front of there.
But I've seen him months ago, I saw him at Malton Gate, not good. I just saw him months ago at Malton Gate, and he does park sort of up by the car park, so he's off the street.
Yeah.
So it'd just be nice because it's been on the agenda now for a while.
Okay. Well, we'll concentrate on that, June.
I
Yeah.
think nice to get that
it
sorted.
has,
It's
so,
the entrance to the
I'll
village.
ring my way home and then just
Yeah.
mention to contact you when he gets here
Contact me
tomorrow.
and I'll come down and I'll come down and help you do that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, June. Right. Cemetery plan for the water butt mould. The water butt's gone on for ages. The water butt has now been put in the shed.
Actually want to water there.
Yeah, it won't get a lot of water there. No. To be honest, we looked at plumbing it into to take the water off the roofs, etc., and it wasn't really viable. So we've decided to put it away in the shed for now. And I really like that removing off the agenda. It keeps coming up time and time again. And the answer's the same time and time again.
So if it's
Which is
in the shed, that's the shed at the top right?
yes, yeah.
Can it not be set up there to test it? Because it's free, isn't it? Because there's guttering on that shed.
Yeah.
Can it not just be put there to test it so the person who's donated it can see we're doing something?
Yeah, well, we could do. Who'll use it? I don't know. And the same principle as in winter time, it'll freeze up.
Well, and you say who would use it, who would know, but unless you put it there and give it a
Yeah.
chance, you won't know, will you?
No, we can spend some money and put some guttering up and down
There's
pipe.
guttering there, isn't there?
But is there a down pipe that leads into it? I don't
Yeah.
think there is.
No,
is
you
there?
had a look at it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
member of the audience,
Right.
did that interest.
Okay, yeah.
Had a look at it first time
Okay.
round, yeah.
Well,
The problem as well is the access because obviously there's no path to there, is there?
no.
So,
But you have to walk around the graves, so it's not an area where you're walking on graves, you're walking around the area.
but there's obviously at the entrance there's a quite defined path, but it's just not appropriate there, is it? Because-
Well, if it's not going to be at the entrance, I'd like to propose that we just test it, for goodness sake, get it off the agenda, but put it outside the shed, get a couple of volunteers to sort it, and if it doesn't work, at least we've tried. So that would be
What
my
does everybody else
proposal.
think?
I think leave it in the
I
shed,
think leave it in the shed personally.
personally.
Well, I'm proposing that we do something with it, so
Okay.
nobody, I'm not supported on that then. I'm making that proposal that we do something with it.
Right. I can't support that personally, Rebecca.
And I can't support it.
No, maybe you can't, John.
I don't see the point in doing it. I mean, it's nice of whoever donated it, but we don't know who donated it or why.
Exactly.
I think it's a nice gesture, but keep it in reserve in case we need it,
Yeah.
because people will use the tap anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that need a vote or not?
Yeah, we'll have a vote. Those in favour of keeping the water butt and installing it on the shed?
Well, there's only me, isn't there?
Yeah. Those against? Carry against. Okay. Moles. Now I know there's been some mole work done, so I've been up there and seen the traps.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had the invoicing, so it's 3 moles on the invoice.
Yeah.
It's it's price per mole.
Not enough to get a hat then.
And it's setting up cost as well, so,
Right.
yeah, so.
How much is the MO?
£20.
A mole.
So it's
Are they big moles?
It didn't say.
Do we get
but,
to
yeah.
keep them?
That's what's done with them, do you want to find out? So, yeah, so the invoice is probably on the approval.
Okay.
Yeah, so are we,
Well,
do we need it back or are we okay at the minute?
It's all right at the moment, and it
Yeah.
will.
We'll just monitor it.
We'll
So at
monitor
least
it.
it's worked.
Yeah.
It's
See
done.
what happens.
Yeah, we'll monitor it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's local, isn't he?
Yeah,
Can I just say something? He'll just come up and monitor it himself anyway. He always does.
okay.
When he's passing, he'll just go and just have a look because he knows how they run and things. I don't know, but he's very good.
Okay.
They'll just depend if there is anything, he'll let you know.
So we'll probably leave moles on and take water butter off, but should we take both off?
We'll take both off.
Take both off.
Yeah.
Right. 3 summary of costs of village upkeep and maintenance.
This is really around the, the equipment or, materials we need to maintain the benches, because it's about time we sort of got on and did that job. So, so we need to think about, what we need to buy, and also who's actually going to do the work as well. Whether perhaps there's probably some benches we don't need to do because they're new or they're not needed, but the idea is to do them once a year if we can.
Okay.
So,
Will Mark not do it?
possibly, yeah. Or we could ask Mel, we could ask ground serve, because they're always asking for additional work.
Right.
So that's another option as well.
Is
So
that
when we
is
get,
that at a cost, Jenny?
well, it will be out, but yeah.
And do we know the cost?
Well, I think we need to decide who we want to ask, and so I propose ask Mark if he's got the time, capacity, and perhaps ground serve as well.
I suppose if Mark's got the capacity within his contract, that would be the best solution,
Why?
because it doesn't cost us anything, because we're paying, he's got a contract, hasn't he, for the
No,
caretaker?
well, the caretaker's per hour.
Yeah, so it costs us 30
Oh,
quid an hour.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
So we might as well get almost 2 quotes in.
Yeah.
And see who's got the
Yeah.
capacity, so.
Denise,
Can I just suggest something?
Yeah.
Why don't we just get some volunteers to do it if you provide the stuff? We did it for Bloom, we did it before.
yeah, sure.
That'd be
Yeah,
ideal.
no, it'll be fine.
And we can get some volunteers
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Huh? Easily, can't we?
The one thing that I would like doing, and I mentioned it before, was the
Oh, the gates.
church gates.
Yeah.
And there is literally a catch missing from it, which was missing ages ago, and it was on the side before our time, and it's
The
disappeared.
church gates, what, treating the church?
Yeah,
The
the
gates.
cemetery
The
the cemetery gates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the cemetery, you mean the ones up near the allotments?
Yes.
Cemetery? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't do them, but the one at the church, we did that one, we did Bloom, because we did them all.
Yeah, but I think,
So rubbing down and treating again.
yeah, oh, I don't know whether they've ever been done.
So we need a quote for materials, so can you, or let me know roughly how much you think in terms of how much materials, and then I can get a quote if you want me to.
For benches or the gate or,
For both. For
because
all
I don't
of
know
it.
how many benches we're doing, that's the problem,
Right.
we've got hundreds of them, haven't we?
We've got quite a few. I mean, in terms of new ones, there's probably only, half a dozen,
Yeah.
so it's probably,
Ellerburn, they're all putting metal, aren't they, on there?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they are.
I suppose we'll be looking at slats, we're going to bench slats,
Yes.
probably John, won't we? Bench slats for the benches, probably that rather than anything else.
Could I make an observation
Yeah.
whilst we're on benches? The previous caretaker did him on rotation, and he used garden paint or garden furniture paint. And my feeling is that has resulted in the amount of damage that we've had, because it seals in any moisture into the benches. Previous years they've always been oiled, and the amount of damage was minimal in comparison to what we've had in the last few years. So I would like to say that they be oiled rather than painted.
Yeah. Do you know where we can get that oil, John?
Yeah, I do know where you can.
At a discount.
Coopers and Pickering.
Would that be the same for the cemetery gate?
In my opinion, yeah. I mean, I'm not a great fan of garden furniture
No.
paint for those reasons.
Yeah.
And oil seems to feed the wood and allows it to breathe
Yeah, it does.
and pass out the moisture. But if they've been varnished or however they've been previously treated, the oil will just run off the top. It won't
So
soak into them.
presumably then leads part of the task.
Usually sand it down, yeah.
Sand it down
And that
then
gets rid of the residue.
Yeah. Okay. Can we try and get somebody to work out how many, roughly, which benches need doing? Because will they need a visit, basically?
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got a bike ride coming on,
Right,
but I can't
okay.
use WhatsApp, whatever's.
Well, we'll just have to,
What 3 words?
What,
Yeah.
3 words, that's it.
yeah. We'll just have to put a big spray paint in with 1, 2, 3. If you're going to rub them down, it won't make any difference. But yeah, no, we'll sort that out between us.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
okay.
I think it's about 500 ml of oil per bench,
Right,
Okay.
okay.
That's good.
roughly, maybe slightly more.
Thank you.
Good. Right, where we got to D, to receive and consider update from flood group, prevention group. There was it was a celebration of the flood group, wasn't it, Jenny, on the 26th of April at Snake Village Hall, where we'd invited various speakers and people who had an interest in the flood group prevention. There was the kids singing, the video of the various groups and everything else that came. So you've probably seen it on the internet if you've been desperate. But yeah, it was there. So yeah, very successful event.
Yeah.
There's about 40 people attended. So yeah, and as far as the flood group concerned, it's really the end of the what I call construction and the maintenance of the groups for now, and it's just a matter of reviewing when we do have some rain, just how effective they've been.
Yeah.
And we won't know that until we have a big downpour. But there's a lot of work gone in, and a lot of people, being very enthusiastic, and yeah, it's been a success. Janet, I don't know if you've been involved in it. Have you got anything you'd like to add?
No, it was a good event and really great community event. We did talk about the need to do resilience planning, emergency planning, and the group decided that there was far more than just an emergency because of a flood. You know, the biggest thing would be if the electricity came down or there was a cyber attack or something like that. So we thought probably one of the next working groups could be on emergency planning, which would include a flood, rather than do it specifically on flooding, which I think would be the way to go with it.
Okay, right. Thank you.
No, but congratulations to all, Chairman.
Right, E, to receive and consider update from the cemetery working group, including fees, rules and reviews. I think this is a work in progress as well, isn't it?
It
Jenny?
is, yeah. The idea is to propose that at the next meeting.
Yeah.
And also look at the amount of work that needs doing to correct a lot of the records on Scribe. So the proposal is to have a cemetery group meeting before the parish council meeting in June, go through the fees, etc., and then propose it all at the meeting.
Yeah, good. Right. Thank you very much. Anybody else got any? On that one? F, to receive and consider VE Day commemorations. I'm going to ask you to have a little...
Yes, it was quite well attended actually, it was a decent day. A few volunteers helped Friday night to set up and Saturday morning, one of which was me. So, yeah, councillors were involved at that point, I suppose. Yeah, and it was a good afternoon. The choir were brilliant. There was a tombola from the WI. Cakes were good, I baked some of them. But it was good. I've spoken to Rebecca, who's the finance person for the hub, and she said they're well within the £250.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because a lot of people volunteer. People volunteered some of the cost, but there's some cost to incur.
Yeah.
So she's going to put a tab into the council to
Okay.
payment, but it's all receipted, so she's collected all receipts.
Yeah.
But it was a good.
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it was a great day.
Yeah, it was lovely.
For the choir and the pianist and everybody was just...
We went at 11
Unbelievable.
as well, Janet and I, with the dogs, didn't we? We
Mhm.
rushed back home, dropped the dogs off and rushed back down again.
No, it was fantastic.
No, it was
really well
lovely.
attended and yeah,
It went down well.
it did. Yeah. Well done everybody. It was well done that. Okay, thanks Stu.
I'm
G
sure
to-
there'll be a video coming on.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be a video. Right, G, to receive and consider preparations for annual parish meeting on the 20th of May, this month. Yeah,
The hall's booked,
the hall's booked.
the old grammar school.
Mhm.
We need to invite everybody, and it has to be.
Well, have the, almost like a diary placement email.
Right. We have.
No. Well, you already know what the day is.
Oh yeah, because I booked it.
Contractors.
It was agreed at the minutes. No, just people that, you know, like the community hub, just all the community groups.
Right.
Some of the local.
The contractors, grass
Yeah.
cutters. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they've had the email and we've tried to send it a month in advance, and that's obviously gone out towards the end of April. And then we just said there'll be obviously an agenda near the time.
Right.
It would be delighted. And we've had a few people come back and, you know, happy to attend.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, we've had a few back already.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a bit different to parish meeting. We have to put the agenda up a few more days before that. We have to put the agenda up for our parish council meetings.
Well, parish council meeting's 3 days.
Yeah, I
full
think it's
day.
7.
It's possibly 7.
Yeah, I think it's.
But yeah, the intention is to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly 7 days prior. The only other prep is the refreshments, because I know you don't normally do them, but I just wondered whether or not the parish council want to consider a budget for teas, coffees and cake, just for people attending.
How does everybody feel?
We've never
We
done it
don't normally
before.
have them, what is the point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with Margaret.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, what's the note then?
I'll bring you a cup of tea down if you want.
Right, I'll go at McDonald's.
You want a cup of tea, you bring a flask with you.
Wendy, could you just put the lights on, please? Because old boys like me are getting confused. Thank you. That's better.
One of them.
That's lovely, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Right, H, to receive and consider requests for further memorial benches on the road to Eleven.
This is plural.
No, 2.
2.
Yeah, is there other spaces for the start of?
I think people look at the benches, and because there might not be a plaque on a bench, then they're making the assumption that the bench potentially could have their family
Oh,
plaque
yeah.
on.
Right,
So that's an
okay.
option. There are families that want to actually put a further bench on that road. It just seems to be a popular area.
Yeah.
But that will. Is it highways? Is it the landowner? Because it's up in the woods, it's a little bit more complicated.
So who owns the land, do we know?
Thornton Le Estate.
Yeah.
The estate.
The estate.
Thornton Le Estates.
So it's not for us to be able to say.
I see. So the benches that are there at the moment have all had permission from,
The landowner.
right,
So if it was a completely new bench, then there would need to be discussions with the landowner as to its location and how it was going to be installed.
So is that for the person who wanted to put the bench up to talk to Thornton Le Dale Estates then? It doesn't come through us, does it? Or does it?
I suppose if it's not parish council ground, then
Well, it goes through the person it should go through, not
Yeah.
through us.
Yeah.
Through the landowner.
That's what I'm
that's what I
asking.
thought, yeah.
So it's actually got nothing to do with us,
No.
it's to
No.
do with Thornton Le Dale Estates?
So all the benches on that road are the same then, they're all
Yeah,
right.
we as a parish council have maintained them.
Right,
Oh, we maintain them?
We maintain them.
Oh,
okay.
so permission to
Because-
put them on is
It's not for
It's
us.
Thornton Le Dale Estates, but if somebody puts 10 on, then we've got extra benches to maintain, that's the, I know it's not 10, but you know, is that how it works? I'm only asking out of ignorance, I don't know.
It's been quite a lot of years since any've been installed on there. But I would say that would be the starting point. I mean, if there is a site there without a bench,
Yeah.
then it would be, I presume, just courtesy to it. Just to mention to the estate that we've had an application to put a bench on Alabin Road. There's a site there, have they got any objection?
Okay.
So in a way, I think it's good that it comes through the parish council
Yeah.
because then we have some idea of what's going on
Yeah.
in and around the village.
And if we maintain them, it's an issue for us, isn't it, the more benches that there are there? Although
I don't
Yeah.
it's
think
only
there's
2.
room on there though.
Pardon?
I don't think there is actually room.
That's not our decision, is it, Rebecca?
No, but what I'm saying is there is no spare
Place.
place because they're concreted underneath.
Yeah, when they've been installed previously, it has been sort of dug into
Yeah.
the verge and then
Yeah.
either flagged or whatever on top.
So how do I get in touch with these people then? Who do I?
I don't know what Owen's number is, I don't know if he has got an agent, has he?
Can you send me some details?
I don't know if he's got an agent that manages the estate for him.
Smithgore.
Sorry,
Smithgore.
Smithgore, yeah, okay, they'll be the agents for Thornton Estate, Smithgore.
Okay.
Because we do have a room on Beck Isle.
How many?
Well,
One?
there's definitely one.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you.
See how we get on. Yeah,
Right.
if you,
Okay,
there's a shout.
thank you.
Right, I, to receive and consider adoption of the village BT phone box. BT phone box, BT have indicated that they shall be removing their equipment from the box and have
If they
offered us.
remove the equipment, can they take the box away?
Well, this is what I'm coming on to.
Alright.
They would like to us to adopt the box for £1 or take it away. So yeah, I'm interested to see what everybody else thinks. I know what I think, but that's only my view. Yeah, I think we've got till the 12th of June to decide. I personally think it's an eyesore there. It blocks the entrance coming through onto the village green, and then you've got the bin, which I also think ought to be to just give it a bit more room in there, but that's just my opinion.
In the newsletter and the parish plan feedback, there is a section about putting a traditional red phone box there that a number of residents would like the council to, I don't know how many residents, but
Yeah.
it says here, enhancement of the village green, including a replacement of the phone box, which is an eyesore, with the traditional red phone box, obviously not working. Blah, blah, blah. So there's a view from residents about having a traditional red phone box. If we don't adopt that phone box and that space, do we lose that space?
No,
When I was talking to Phil, he thought that we did.
No.
I don't think so.
no. There used to be 2 red telephone boxes there.
Yeah.
Then there were 2 aluminium ones, and
Yeah.
they took one away.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I'll take the next one.
Yeah, I mean, we could end up paying £1 then having to get rid of a thing which would cost a lot
Absolutely.
more than £1 to get rid of. The things that I saw and really has no relevance.
It would become a village centre urinal.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
See, red phone boxes in some villages are used very well. Well, where I used to live in Horby, there was a red phone box and it was used for art, it was used for books, but it was maintained by a community. So I think the beautiful old red phone boxes, which is I think what comes out of this parish plan, to have a design for a proper traditional red phone box, but it would have to be used probably not as a urinal, but as either a bookstore or
But we're not discussing
sorry,
that,
or
we're
an art
discussing getting rid of what we've
Yeah,
got.
Well, my question is, if we get rid of what we've got, do we lose the right to put a red phone box
We
there?
can put what we like there.
Yeah.
Right, that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll build a block of flats there.
Yeah.
It's not.
Marguerite, what's your sort of opinion on it? You like to see it gone or remain or?
Doesn't matter to me what you do
Right.
on that one.
Could we have a police box there instead?
A TARDIS, a proper TARDIS with Daleks. Yeah. Yeah. Well, can I suggest we have a vote on it?
Yes.
Getting rid of the box. Well, what we do to replace it with a red box is not really what we're talking
Get
about.
hold of the red box.
Well, exactly.
You can.
So,
I'll second.
so the main considerations: do we want to get rid of the old BT box? And we'll have a vote. Those who want to get
Can
rid
I
of it.
ask a question before you have a vote?
Yeah.
Because I think I can only vote if you and the three of you are giving assurance that we can put something else on that spot if we decide to in the future, like a red phone box. I'm not saying we should, but we don't lose the right to that spot if that phone box goes.
The village hall,
That's what you three are saying.
doesn't the village green come under? We own the village green.
Do we own it, or is it public land that we? look
No,
after?
we've got deeds for it.
We've got deeds.
Got deeds.
Yeah.
So it's ours.
Yeah, it's the parish council.
Well, if that's what the three of you are saying, I'm happy to vote. Yeah.
I think
But I'd like that to be in the decision if I'm voting on it in that context.
Excuse me, that resident wants to ask you a
Yeah,
question.
John, yeah.
Surely, if we give up the spot where it stands, and then we want to put a red phone box on, then we would have to go for planning permission.
Yeah, but also, do we want a red box in the same place it is now?
Well, a lot of people in the village do, yes.
Is this a lot? I mean, how many?
Can
What
I
numbers
just
are we
say,
talking
it's
about?
that diversity from what we're voting on.
Oh,
I know, I do
first of
know
all,
the
the
results,
parish
I'm not
plan is
saying,
just
but
the
it's
parish
quite a
plan.
lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, can we?
I can't say how many, but I am on the parish plan committee,
Yeah.
there is quite a lot.
There's quite a lot.
Yeah, but I can't say how many are, or I can't say more than that.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed
But the
to.
question we've got to sort out today, I think, is do we get rid of the box that's out there now? This is what's on the
I think
agenda.
the question for today is, do you want to adopt? Because that's what BT have asked
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
parish council.
Yeah.
Do you want to adopt it? Yes or no? If you do, it's costing £1.
Yeah.
And
If we
that.
don't, they'll take it away, will they?
Yeah.
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 But if we adopt it, then we've got to maintain it.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go through the
And you would
process
still-
of then getting rid of it.
Yeah, to
And
answer
then
John's
and then go
question,
for
we
the
would
second
still need
process.
planning permission
Yeah.
should we wish to
Yeah.
replace the aluminium box with the red one.
Yeah. Okay.
So it would still be the same issue whether there was a box there or not.
So the vote is: do we want to adopt the box for £1?
I propose that we don't adopt the box.
I propose we don't.
I propose that we don't.
Marguerite,
Yeah,
don't.
same, yeah.
June.
I'm abstaining.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Oh,
And then whatever we do about the red box in the future, we can discuss at future meeting. Right, move on to J, to receive and consider update on employment tribunal. June, I think you can take us through that, please.
Yeah. There was a 2-day hearing at the end of March. It took a full 2 days. I think the expectation from the council was that we'd have a decision at the end of that 2 days, but because the hearing consumed the whole of the 2 days, the judge who heard the case has to be allocated another day for him to work through the detail and make a judgment. That goes into the tribunal listing system because they allocate all their legal days out. We haven't heard yet, and we haven't heard when we will hear, so it's just a waiting game.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Right, Lots of planning applications. So 126, to consider new planning applications or previous planning applications, decisions and updates. There are 9 in total. We'll start off with the one at the top of the list, which is Victory Mill, Thornton Le Dale, and it is a U to cut back into topiary shape. So cutting a U back into a topiary shape.
I don't have an issue.
I don't
That's
have
going
an
to be
issue.
fun, I think, don't you?
Yes.
Depends on the shape.
So I don't have an issue. Anybody else
No.
an issue with that? Okay, right. The next one is Herrengarth. So Herrengarth, application for the installation of bifold doors and solar panels to garden room and erection of carport on Herrengarth. So that's the house on the corner, obviously, before you go down Blackview. Again, I don't have an issue with it.
No,
No.
that looks alright.
Right, a couple of applications for the almshouses, Lady Lumley's almshouses. The first one is 0252, and that refers to the application for alterations to roof pitch and replacement coverings with eaves, protection, but without parapets and roof lights. And I'm going to do the second one as well, because the second one is exactly the same as the first, but an application for listed building consent for the things that I've just talked about, basically. I personally don't have an issue with that.
But it's got to be done, hasn't it?
It's got to be done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, happy to approve, happy to
Happy to.
Yeah.
approve. Do we don't approve, do we?
As long as they've got a proper bloody builder to do it this time,
Yeah,
not like
exactly.
the last one.
Absolutely, I agree, yeah. I think there's a bit, right. Rydale Manor, yeah. Application of variation of condition 2, materials amendment of planning permission, so it's been previous planning permission to allow alterations to fenestration, doors, roof lights, link extension roof, and removal of verge detail to roof of detached buildings. A mouthful. So it's obviously got through before, but they've amended it. Any issues?
No issues from me?
No.
Right, next one. 0288, Three Gables, Malton Gate. Notification preferred proposed works to trees in a conservation area. A beach to be removed.
It's not a protected tree, is it?
I wouldn't have thought so, because I think, I don't know, I mean, Nathan Wilmini has been, McWinnie, sorry, has been involved in it, and he's sort of good on that. So I want to thought it was listed. Yeah, no, I don't have an issue with it.
No.
No. Marguerite,
No.
for that, yeah, thank you. Right, where do we go after this? Yeah, Amanda's. Is that how you say it? Amanda's. Application for a non-material amendment to planning approval to allow the reduction in the height of the wall and change in coping detail from stone to pan tiles. So that's putting pan tiles on the wall instead of coping stones. Church Lane, Rebecca, any objection?
Well, this has been going on for years.
Well,
I was going to say, I've
it
no
comes up
objection
and up,
to it, I
doesn't
just
it?
wish they'd get on with it.
Yeah, exactly. It keeps coming up
That's
time
nice.
and time again. Right, nobody any objection?
That was approved with provisions, wasn't it? Would we have all the
Yeah.
provisions out?
We don't know. No, exactly. It does seem to appear time and time again.
No issue.
Right, quite a big one here. 0284 Village Hall, Thornton Le Dale. Right, application for demolition of existing single-storey side extension, construction of single-storey sided extensions, and covered seat to the east and west elevations, formation of parking for disabled persons, cars, mobility scooters, formation of cycle parking, erection of a flagpole, and one notice board, resubmission of a previous application at the Village Hall.
Have they got the money for it?
I'm told they have, Marguerite, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Have they got money? When you say you're told that they have, is that the village hall have told you that they have?
Well, yeah, apparently they have, but you know these sources of information.
It's a waste of time doing it. Leave the village hall as it is.
Anybody, any comments?
I wouldn't know what to come in.
No, I wouldn't, because it's a massive project.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I wouldn't know. I would leave it to the experts
Mm.
personally.
Well, I do know that the single story extension is not is past its sell by date, not fit for purpose. So something needs to be done
That's at
there.
the back, isn't it? near the
And in
counter?
terms of making provision for cycles and car parking and all the rest of it, and it's an application that's been up before. I have
They've
no
got
objections.
limited
to it.
access for that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Unlimited
Yeah,
room.
the number of vehicles that can get in is fairly limited.
Yeah.
Well, they're talking 6 up to 8, aren't they, in a turning circle, and I think it won't
It
put that.
won't do
But,
that.
I mean, they must have it, like you say, the experts have looked at it.
Yeah,
Must be-
it's a massive
they must be able
project.
to
isn't
fit it in.
I personally can't really comment because it's a big job.
It's a big one.
You've got to be into it to,
But presumably when it goes into planning, they'll be all over it.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good. The last one is Thorpe Cottage, Chestnut Avenue. Right,
Oh, yeah.
an interesting one. Application of demolition of a twin garage and construction of one principal dwelling residence with parking, amenity space and landscaping works together with construction of a replacement garage for Thorpe Cottage. Anybody, it sounds a bit...
I've looked
think
at the
it's
plans
ambitious.
and I've looked
Say
at
something.
Thorpe Cottage is actually on Chestnut Avenue, attached to the almshouses, and then they have the land where their 2 garages are on Brook Lane. So they're wanting to demolish the 2 garages, leave access for a house that they're going to build there, and then have access here to build 2 garages at the bottom for Thorpe Cottage. There seems to be a lot of
My greatest concern about this one is the height of it and the depth that height actually goes back behind the almshouses. So at the moment, you can't see any of the cottages other than the top roof line as you come over the bridge heading in Pickering direction. All you see is the almshouses.
which elicit.
My great worry is that when they put the if they put this proposed building in, the height of it and the proximity to the almshouses would mean that gable end would be apparent in the view of the almshouses as you come over the bridge. It's just working it out from the plans. It's the gable end of the proposed dwelling is 13 metres further towards the rear of the almshouses than the height of the gable of the cottages on Brook Lane, and it's slightly higher.
Yeah.
So that would be my objection to it. It would be the impact that it had on the appearance of the almshouses to the rest of the village, or from the rest of the village.
I agree.
And would the almshouses they could lodge an objection
They could.
to this as well, couldn't they?
Yeah,
If they
they're
felt-
neighbours, so
Yeah.
yeah, they could. But the residents are the consultees as opposed to the almshouses trust.
So obviously,
So-
I think most of us have an issue with this. Have we been in a situation where we've not exactly turned something down, but we've commented on it? So what's the
Yeah,
next
well,
stage?
my comment would be I would object to it
Yeah.
for those reasons.
Okay.
So should we register our comments back to Parks?
An object.
Can we have a vote on everybody who
Yeah, it's got to be the view of the council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marguerite, or
Yeah,
what's,
yeah.
objection, Jude?
Yeah, based on what John was saying, that's
Yeah.
all in
Yeah,
favour.
so everybody, yeah, okay.
To object.
Great. Well, we got through those. Updates and decisions are all on the list, so I'm not going to bother going through those. We'll move on to 127, to receive and consider matters matters raised by the parish clerk, RFO. A, to receive current bank balances. Jenny, now we've just had the precept in, haven't we?
Yes, so Barclays Community is at the end of April is £29,008.11, and Barclays Premium is £73,172.95. Obviously, the other one's closed.
Yeah.
Just mention that's with us. As you said, you wouldn't. Yeah?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Yeah.
And since then we've had the precept
Yeah.
coming on, which is 2024 something.
Precepts on there.
Yeah, it's on
Because it
there.
came in
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
right at the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course it did. Yeah. Okay. B, to consider payments received and for approval. Michelle, the payments list.
Yeah, so that's in the clerk's notes.
Yeah.
It's in, they're all on there. Either been paid because they've been approved from previous meeting,
Yeah.
and we've also got a scribe report as well, which gives you all the ones that are due for authorisation.
Yeah.
And that was circulated around everybody.
Okay.
So is that those 7 payments that you sent to us, Jenny?
There's on the scribe report,
Yeah.
yeah.
That the ones I'm
Yeah.
looking at here.
Yeah.
I haven't got that.
Yeah.
The Vale of Pickering land drainage one is it's for the whole field. It's an internal valley drainage board charge for water going into the bed basically.
That's what I've got.
So you're going to want us to sign this if we approve all these? If
Dave, yeah, get Dave to sign it. Yeah, I mean, some of, just so that we're clear, okay, so just want to point that out. Obviously, the YLCA, some of these have come in right at the beginning of April, but they're due for payment at the end of April, which is obviously before our meeting today.
yeah.
So it was circulated on email. But there are some on there that haven't been paid yet that we need authorising today. So that's the drainage rates, which is £10.30. The software from our Vantage Web Design, so that's the website and the hosting of the website. That's an annual cost. There's the pest control that came in Sunday this week, so that's on there. And the defib, they've just been delivered of the
Good.
cats.
Yeah.
So there's some concern they haven't turned up, but they've turned up now.
They
Yeah.
have,
Yeah,
so
good.
that's on there as well. So some of these have literally come in the last day or two, but they do need paying certainly before the next parish council meeting. So
Yeah.
they're on there. There's one or two that have already been paid because to meet the payment terms,
Sure.
and also this one, which is the payroll one, where we do get a discount for paying more or
Quick.
less immediately. So that's why we've done that as well.
Good.
Shall I pass this on to our
Yeah.
chair?
The only other one that's on there is James Brown Tree Services. So this is all the chipping of the prune trees in the churchyard. And his invoice literally came in last night. So I knew, but we had a quote and we knew it was going to be £300. So that's on there as well for approval. So it's just those 4 really that need approving because they'll all need paying in the next.
Well, I'm quite happy to propose those 4, Vale of Pickering, Advantage Web Design, J Brown and Well Medical.
Yeah, I'll second that. Everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's everybody?
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone?
That's Simon.
Thank you.
Does it need another signature?
Yeah.
You just need, yeah. Right, C, to consider future payments in received.
Thank you.
That's really just on the.
Oh, yeah.
It's on there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
The NYC
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the precept, presumably.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we said, yeah. That's half of the preset, obviously.
Yeah.
Right, D, to receive update on interim full audit for 24-25. Jenny.
Yeah, so interim, that was completed. We have a report, but we've raised a few queries and we're still waiting for the auditors to come back and just confirm or change, because there was a couple of things that needed correcting. So still waiting for that to come back, and then she's on with the full audit. So the idea is to present all that at the next meeting and have a finance committee meeting before the meeting, just to go through it all.
Yeah.
And this is the internal auditor.
Yes.
Right, E, to receive update on the AGAR challenge to the 2023-24 submission. I'm happy to say that of the 21 objections, none have been accepted by an external auditor, which is fantastic, really well done, Jenny, for being diligent, basically, yeah. So obviously that's going to be a tremendous saving on the cost from what we had last year. So yeah, well done. Yeah, congratulations. F, to consider the 3rd of June for the Finance Committee meeting to sign off the 24-25 AGAR.
So we have that before the...
Yeah, so if you can have it at 6 p.m. if that's, if you're okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Good.
Do we need to vote on that?
I don't think so, because it's just a finance committee. It's just really just to
Well,
formalise that, you know,
Yeah,
ideally.
we'll have to issue an agenda and put a notice on the notice board.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you. G, to consider 3rd of June cemetery working group meeting and agree next steps and document sign off.
So again, that's,
Busy that night.
yeah.
Yeah. Again,
We're
just
coming
do
at
it,
5 o'clock.
do it 5 o'clock.
Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I'll issue the agenda.
Okay.
We don't need an agenda for that.
Well,
It's a working
I'd
group.
like to have it doing that. Just so that you know why we're meeting.
Yeah.
It's just to formalise the documents that need signing off as well. You know.
And presumably then there will be proposals to put forward to the meeting.
Yeah.
So we should maybe have that cemetery meeting somewhat earlier than just immediately prior to the meeting. Otherwise our proposals won't be able to get onto the agenda. Or, well, I suppose you could, but leave it open.
Okay.
But it would have to be stipulated as to what the agenda items would be for the consideration of the council,
Okay.
if you see what I mean. So, for example, if we were to review the cemetery fees,
Yes.
then that would need to be an agenda item for the
Parish
council.
council meeting.
And we would have to come up with the proposals immediately prior to it. So
Okay.
if you think that's doable, then fine.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to meet earlier in the month if you feel that would be better.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Right, we'll move on to 23-24-128 to receive new correspondence received by the clerk and any action required. A is tree work documentation for All Saints Church, Parks and York Diocese.
Yeah, it's just whether or not there is any further documentation that needs to be completed to gain permission to, because we were going to literally take the limb off that tree, but then it's decided it doesn't need, it's more remedial work, and whether or not that can be done without any form filling, or whether we still need to.
I think the best person that we can talk to is Marjorie. Because they can fill, John, the church warden, because they're the people that can fill in information, or they have to fill in a faculty.
Yeah.
I think recently I read that even tree pruning is supposed to be, you're supposed to gain permission.
I know you were all right doing what Mark did, because I did speak to them some
Right.
time back about that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I think they're proposing, is it about 3 metres off the,
Yeah, 2 or 3 metres off there, and I'd have to say, I said at the last meeting I will contact Nathan Wilwin, but I haven't done, so I will do.
okay, who's that then?
He's the National Parks chap who
Right.
did all the,
Okay.
agreed to do the work on the village green,
So
so I
just
will do that. I
carry it
haven't
forward.
done, I should
Carry-
do.
I'll
Yeah.
carry it forward then?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
B, damaged railings notified by a member of the public on the
Where's
rocks.
Oh, that's on Ross,
Road.
yeah, it's been ongoing for quite a while. We put it on the new portal and nothing much happened, but I can say that it's been done now and and I've asked the resident who raised it to check on it and they're happy with it, so we'll see.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. So we can take that, we can
Yeah.
take that off.
Yeah.
ICO correspondence, training.
Yeah, it was just, we had a request in regarding names for training that we've, whether it's councillors or myself. So we've just put a document together, it's now on the website, so any member of the public can have a look and see what we're spending the money on in terms of the training. So it's also a document that tracks against the budget as well.
Yeah.
So that's on the website.
Okay.
So just to let you know.
Okay, lovely. D, Radale Lions bench donation.
Yeah, looks good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think I'll put maybe a letter together and get Phil to sign
Yeah.
just as a
Thank
thank you.
you.
Yeah, looks really, really good. Defibrillator, E, defibrillator requested CPR training.
Yeah, so Andy Dunlop he lives in
He's Leversham chap,
yeah,
isn't he?
he's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
local first responder.
Yeah,
So he's offered to do some CPR training. So
That'd be brilliant.
Phil thinks it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for a response from Andy.
okay,
Put some dates together.
yeah.
And
lovely.
can
Public come to that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for
Yeah,
anybody
Yeah.
who feels
Yeah.
capable of doing
Yeah.
anything, that's good.
He's a good guy, and he knows
Yeah.
a lot, and
Yeah.
he's fairly chatty. And
Well, he
Yeah.
was there, he was the first responder, I think, when we had
He was
the
latest incident.
the latest
Yeah.
incident.
Yeah.
good. Right, F, village caretaker grant 2025 from the parks.
Yeah, that was we've had the form in. They have confirmed with Parks that this is the last year that we'll receive this grant. So the maximum you can claim is 2,750. We claimed it last year. I've done the form. I've completed it. I just need to get it back off to
So how much is that, Jenny?
2,750. That's the maximum you can claim.
Claim that.
That's yes. Oh yes. So I've completed the form. Just need to. I thought I might have sent it off. I can't remember, but it's just got to go back to Parks.
Yeah.
And they'll pay that. But obviously this will be the last year that they
Yeah,
will
sure.
pay. So we just need to make sure we factor that in for next year.
Sure, okay, thank you. G, request Northern Power Grid retrieves power lines. I think we're looking at Church Lane, aren't we?
Yeah, that came
It's in the
in
church.
probably six weeks ago. They did. I chased it up and they said that it had been done, but it's clear that it hasn't. So I've, put.
It's in their schedule though, isn't it? They
Yeah,
know about
yeah.
it.
Well, I've said it. They said it had been done, and as well, we sent some pictures saying it hasn't. So we're just waiting to hear back.
Okay.
Probably go on next month's agenda.
H, request to formally consider rewilding of corridors of grassland in Thornton Le Dale. We had a letter from
A member of
member
the
of the club, that was Wendy, who's very kindly joined us tonight. Re the patch of grass outside your property, parish council grass, and you're concerned that obviously when the contractors, the grass contractors came past, they demolished quite a few plants, weeds, etc. I did have a word with them. I think I explained to you before the meeting, but I had a word with the contractor, Sam, and his brother, and unfortunately his brother usually does that, and Sam had done it and he'd forgotten all about it and demolished it, to be honest. So we can only, I know it's Alan, but it causes distress to people, and I understand the letter you wrote, and we do apologise for that, and I have spoken to the contractors. I think in future there might be a cause for putting a sign up at certain times of year. I don't know. What's your opinion?
Well, I think there's a wider issue here. I think the parish council needs to look at all the areas in England and look at the vegetation on those areas and think, does it need cutting? Why are we cutting it?
Yeah.
And start from the common sense approach, common sense to me, approach, which is that we don't cut unless there's a good reason to do so.
I think if we start thinking that, we're going to have to re-tender.
Yes, I think that is probably the case. I think it needs a fairly basic look again at all the areas which at the moment are being cut and ask the question, why are they being cut? And if it's just to tidy up the area, I think that's not good enough. I think we ought to look at what we've got, as I said in the letter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of biodiversity here. There's a lot of areas which give a lot of pleasure to people in terms of how they look. Not just locals, but tourists as well. But a wider issue is the biodiversity and the fact that if we're destroying the vegetation, we're destroying the insects and other wildlife. And the other point that needs to be made, I think, is that the hub spend a lot of time and effort in growing flowers, basically making the area look attractive. The parish council is spending money to do the opposite, which is to destroy the vegetation. To me, it doesn't make sense.
We can certainly have a look at it. I know Phil has taken rewilding to his heart, hasn't he?
He has.
Well, I mean, to me, this isn't rewilding. Rewilding, to me, is taking it a stage further. And that's not what I'm asking for at the moment.
Yeah, rewilding to me as an intensive arable farmer.
I mean, rewilding has all sorts of different. There's all sorts of different
very
emotive
strong views on
ideas.
rewilding.
Yeah, I mean that's not what I'm asking for.
No.
I'm just asking for a common sense approach, which is you look at an area of grass and you don't cut it unless there's a good reason to do so.
Yeah.
And most of the areas of grass in the village, I would say, don't need cutting. Certainly not as often as they are. Unless you've got sight lines or whatever, and from a traffic management point of view, a safety point of view, that's fine, cut it, but not the flowers.
We've invited a lady from the parks who's in charge of biodiversity. Yeah. She's done a talk up at Lockton Parish Council. So we have extended an invite to her to come to this meeting to talk about how we can coordinate the approach of biodiversity in the village. And she has all the sort of ideas as to how you approach it.
Yeah.
And it's obviously resident-led, volunteer-led, but she's there to oversee and help guide you. So we've extended an invite to her. She may come to the next meeting, we just wait to hear back. And we do have a biodiversity policy because parish council should have one.
Yes.
So I believe that's on the website.
Yes, I have read it. And it contradicts completely what these grass cutters have been doing.
That's wonderful.
Well, we've got to.
We're wasting money, aren't we?
I think we've
Why
got
are we
to.
spending money on cutting grass when there's no good reason to do it?
I think it just needs to look at.
I think we need a fresh look at it.
We do,
Wendy,
yeah.
And
We definitely do.
thank you very much for bringing it up. We'll have a fresh look and we'll come back and address it. I don't know if anybody else has got any.
Well, it's obviously
Although I must say that there are residents in the village that have completely the opposite view to yourself, Wendy. And I would argue the opposite case quite strongly. But at the moment we don't have sufficient information. And I would welcome it coming forward at another meeting.
Yeah.
When we've been able to ascertain a little bit more.
Also, I went to that conference at Kirby Misperton Village Hall, which was all about this kind of stuff. And I've got some contact information in there that I'll pass through because that might be helpful. Because they were looking at things like on the motorway, just cutting a strip and not cutting it all. So you've got like the grass growing in the back and you've got neatness at the front for whatever reason. So there's a bit of an impetus there to look at things like that, but it's got to be a balance in there. But I can give some of that information.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll take it forward because I think it's important.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Wendy. Right, 129, to receive matters raised by members for inclusion in future agendas and note outstanding matters for future agendas. Have we got anything?
No.
Will the parish plan be on the next? I know there's a parish plan meeting at our parish council thing, but will the parish plan be on the next formal agenda then?
I think it's got to be, hasn't it?
It will be the
I don't
outcome
know,
of that
Jenny.
session,
I think
won't
the
it?
outcome.
It's always on.
It's always
Yeah.
on.
And obviously it will be presented at the meeting on the 20th.
Well, that's what I'm
May.
saying, because we presented there, but then I think we formally need to have a look at it
Yeah,
on the,
sure.
at the meeting.
It'll stay on the agenda.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Good. Last little bit, 1:30, to confirm the dates of the future meetings for 2025. So we've got the 3rd of June, the 1st of July and the 5th of August.
I'm going to raise my annual point here.
Yeah, we
Do we
don't
need
normally have
a, do we need a
meeting in
5th of August? And I was going to raise the
We
same
don't
thing.
have a meeting in August.
Yeah. The
It's show week, isn't it?
Thornton Le Dale shows on the
Yeah.
6th of August.
Yeah.
And I would suggest if there was a need for a meeting and a big agenda, lots of agenda items to go through, I would suggest that we adjourn that meeting to the following week or forget about it.
Forget about it altogether.
Till September, yeah.
Well, I think we've proposed to put it on the next agenda and I've discussed it with Phil already,
Yeah.
so he's aware that we're looking
Okay.
to put it on the next
How
agenda.
does everybody else feel? Rebecca, would you feel that as well? Just postponing it or not having one in August at all and running through to September?
Well, it depends what we have. If we've got something important, we need to have a meeting, but if not,
Yeah.
because we only legally only need 4 meetings a year.
Yeah, yeah.
Some councils only need bi-monthly, and they manage.
Well, so why do we have one every month?
Yeah.
Well, we've had a lot of business actually, that's why, but I
Yeah.
think August might be an exception.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a lot of business, it's planning, which we all get through flaming email, we can give our answers there.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda, shall we, Jenny? Good. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming and contributing as always, and thank you very much.